That, ladies and gentlemen, is the best way to end the PLEs of 2024. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. I gotta hand it to you guys. I gotta be honest. Honestly, NXT Deadline, I did not expect it to be this insane. You look at every card, the entire card of 2024 for NXT. You look at literally going all the way back to fucking January. To fucking February. You look at Vengeance Day where we saw Trick Williams challenge Ilya Dragunov for the NXT title, where we even saw as well Obafemi versus Dragon Lee for the NXT North American title. Look at Stand and Deliver earlier this year. Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes, probably one of the biggest main events in NXT history, being as the fact that they were the first two black guys to main event an NXT PLE, which is absolutely incredible. You look at as well, what's another good one? Battleground. We saw Jordan Grace show up challenging for the NXT Women's title. You got as well Heatwave, which had some pretty crazy matches as well. Even also NXT No Mercy, that was a pretty crazy one as well. Halloween Havoc as well had some incredible incredible matches, including the tag team match of Julia and Stephanie Vaquer against Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. And now is NXT Deadline, and honestly, this may just be probably one of the craziest Deadline PLEs we've had ever. You look at last year's, it was pretty awesome as well. But I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna get straight into the results and my review of said PLE. And we kick things off with the Men's Iron Survivor that featured Wesley, Javon Evans, Nathan Fraser, Ethan Page, and originally it was supposed to have been Eddie Thorpe, but somebody took him out, literally just attacked him from out of nowhere this past Tuesday on NXT, and apparently Ava said there will be a suitable replacement, and who showed up? From literally out of nowhere, the former North American champion Obafemi. And this was actually pretty interesting, given the fact that Wesley ended up picking up the first fall, but it was Obafemi that made all the difference. So obviously Javon Evans scored 2, Wesley scored 1, Nathan Fraser scored 1, Ethan Page scored 1, but Obafemi in the closing moments, in the final minute of the match, Obafemi pinned not one but 2 guys, and as Javon Evans had hit Obafemi with the cutter and was about to go for the pin, the clock expired. So obviously Javon Evans got a little salty about it, but of course Obafemi has become the 2024 Men's Iron Survivor and will challenge for the NXT title at New Year's Evil. I mean, I think if Eddie Thorpe was still in the Men's Iron Survivor, I don't know if he would have won. My opinion, I feel like Javon Evans probably could have won, but when you look at it, Obafemi had been gone for at least what like what, maybe a month at best. And the last time we saw him on NXT, it was, you know, in NXT, it was actually it was actually on it was actually I believe in the rematch that Obafemi had against Tony D'Angelo for the North American title, and Obafemi lost. In fact, I believe that was sometime last month. Yeah. I believe it was sometime last month, and now Obafemi is just randomly the new Men's Iron Survivor. So, could it have ended differently if Eddie Thorpe didn't get hurt? I mean, it's hard to say. I think looking at it, I think Javon Evans probably would have been the odds-on favorite going into this matchup, but funny enough, Obafemi ended up becoming the ultimate X factor going into this match, because again, he was a last-minute entry. So maybe it was Obafemi who attacked Eddie Thorpe. Maybe it was Ethan Page. No one knows. But I will say this was a crazy one. But I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. 4 stars, just because of how chaotic it was, and it was just in there again. No words. Absolutely no words. Just pure chaos. But the question became this: Nathan Fraser got hurt during that match, so the question becomes, would he be physically able to defend the NXT Tag Team titles? You guys will have to wait later on in this video to find out. But next up, we've got NXT Underground between Lola Vice and Jada Parker in a rivalry that actually kind of brewed up, actually dating all the way back to the CW premiere of NXT, all the way back in October last month. And it's weird. It's weird because when you look at it, when you really look at it, the rivalry had sparked drastically, and it's pretty interesting because the thing about this rivalry is that again it's as I said, it dates all the way back to literally just this past October when there was a tag team match that featured both Lola Vice and Jada Parker taking on Fatal Influence, and interestingly enough, Jada Parker walked out because she thought Lola Vice attacked her, which clearly she didn't. Well, she did, but it was by accident. It was mainly thanks to Fatal Influence, but it just escalated, and it got to where I believe what was it Halloween Havoc, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like sometime on NXT where we saw those two go at it. Jada Parker ended up picking up the victory in the hardcore match in Philly with Dawn Marie as the guest referee. Lola Vice cost Jada Parker both of her women's Iron Survivor qualifiers, which obviously led to this. And this was interesting because Jada Parker had never been in an environment like NXT Underground before, where as opposed to Lola Vice, she's practically undefeated. Literally, she is undefeated, and literally, like, all of her NXT Underground matches that she's had, that she's had, literally led to this moment. Like, it led to her ending rivalries like it was nothing. Take her match with Shayna Baszler earlier this year, back in in the summer at Battleground. And that kind of escalated when Shayna thought Lola was disrespecting Shayna, which led to obviously that. This, however, it just went to a whole new level, like literally a whole new level of violence. This was insane. There were so many times where Jada Parker had came this close from winning, but the closing moments made all the difference, as even with a broken hand, excuse me, Lola Vice was able to apply a modified version of CM Punk's Anaconda Vice and literally made Jada Parker pass out, which leads to the question: could Lola Vice be next in line for a potential opportunity at either the NXT Women's title or the NXT Women's North American title? And the answer is yes. Now that excuse me, now that Lola Vice has put Jada Parker in the rear view mirror, she can now move forward with her career and potentially go after either the NXT Women's title or the Women's North American title, depending on the outcome of, obviously, New Year's Evil, which we'll get to that here in just a bit, but also potentially on whether or not there will be any other challengers for Fallon Henley and the Women's North American title. But overall, the match, the fight itself, the match itself is pretty solid, but a bit mediocre in my opinion. I feel like that was a match that Jada Parker needed to win, just because of the fact that Jada Parker had lost the last few matches that she's been in on NXT. So I think if she had defeated Lola Vice, it would have put her back in the winner's circle and potentially go after some championship gold. But overall, I will be optimistic. 3 stars. Again, definitely Jada Parker could have won, but I think Lola Vice winning, I think, was probably the best thing, just because of the fact that this rivalry had to end at some point. Only way to end is NXT Underground. But talking about Nathan Frazer, the tag titles were defended between, obviously, Frazer and Axiom against none other than Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights of No Quarter Catch Crew. Let me tell you guys, Nathan Frazer is one tough son of a bitch. Like, that dude, that dude's nuts. Like, you would think that it would have ended the way that you guys were thinking, but funny enough, it didn't. It did not, because Axiom told Frazer, "Hey, I get it. You're hurt. You got fucked up. I need to do some heavy lifting, so do what you can. I got this." And literally, he did. He got it. He legit got it. I was actually kind of surprised that Nathan Frazer was still able to go, even though he got banged up and he got busted open, quite literally. And there was a moment where no quarter catch crew was this close. There was a moment where we thought that they were gonna win the tag titles, but Axiom was like, nope, we need this, and literally Axiom and in the closing moments rolled up Miles Bourne. Axiom rolled up Miles Bourne to retain the NXT tag team titles, and this was probably one of the greatest NXT tag title matches we have seen all year long. All year long, this might have been one of the greatest. Like, absolutely incredible. Would I consider it a part of the top 10? Absolutely. Like, if you were to do a top 10 greatest WWE matches of 2024, this will probably be at like number 5 or something like that, which is possible. It's very possible, but spoiler, I will be doing a top 10 top 10 on the last 3 days of the year. The final 3 days, I'll be doing a top 10. Top 10 greatest matches of 2024, top 10 greatest Yu-Gi-Oh sets of 2024, and the top 10 greatest WWE superstars of 2024. The last 3 days, do not miss them. Do not miss them, you guys. It's gonna be it will blow your minds. Trust me. Absolutely crazy. But again, Nathan Fraser, the true MVP of NXT Deadline. That was just insane. This is an easy 4 stars. Absolutely incredible. I think honestly, No Quarter Catch Crew, as crazy as it sounds, they're still pretty young into their careers in WWE. So there was really like no way that they would have won. Although, to be fair, I will be honest, I was actually hoping that that the NQCC would win, but obviously Fraser and Axiom pulled it out, which now buys into the question, what's next? What is next for the NQCC? Only time will tell. But next up is the NXT title, and literally the future of NXT rested in the hands of Trick Williams and his damn near broken neck. Literally, that's literally what it came down to. And we knew that Rich Holland was going to target the neck. We knew that the neck was going to be basically had a big old bullseye on it. Basically a big old sign that said, "Hurt me." Literally, that's what it came down to. But Trick Williams, the oh my god, you want to talk about MVPs? I think Trick Williams might be the other MVP of NXT Deadline, because he literally fought through the pain, targeted Ridge Holland's own neck, and even with everything that happened during the match, a back body drop to Ridge Holland from the top of the announce table. Trick Williams' knee and leg getting caught in the ropes, and the final moments of the match, Trick Williams had his neck caught in between the top and the middle ropes, which we all thought that was it. We all thought Ridge Holland was gonna pick up that dub, but it just was not meant to be, as he hit a Redeemer onto Trick Williams, but he kicked out at 2, and it came down to the final moments. Trick Williams hit the trick kick onto Ridge, and then hit the trick shot onto Ridge, picking up the victory. Thus, Trick Williams is still the NXT champion, and the fate of NXT is safe. But for how long? That right there is the big question, because now Trick Williams has to deal with Obafemi, and there's been a lot of rumors going around saying after what happened after the announcement last night on SmackDown with the whole thing. The whole thing involving the superstar shakeup. Haven't heard that in a long time. There's been a lot of chatter that SmackDown GM Nick Aldis is bringing in guys like Gunther, Dominic Mysterio, and of all people, get this, Trick Williams. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I don't know if Trick on SmackDown is right. I feel like Trick on Raw is better, just because of the fact that just because of the fact that he had a crazy segment, if you will, with main event Jey Uso. Excuse me, when they were in St. Louis, and at that time he was indeed the Intercontinental Champion. So maybe, who knows? Only time will tell. But this NXT title match, 3 stars. 3 stars. I'm being optimistic. I'm being optimistic with this one, just because I feel like with Trick potentially jumping over to SmackDown, I feel like Deadline would have been the perfect way to write Trick off in time for the Raw move to Netflix in just a couple weeks. And I feel like that would have been perfect, but it is what it is. I think Trick Williams might be the only might be the second NXT superstar to walk in, to literally make the jump to the main roster full time as NXT champion. The first was obviously none other than, ironically enough, Kevin Owens. So, but it is what it is. But speaking of main events, we move into the main event, which is the Women's Iron Survivor. This was... I don't even have the words for it. Like, this was probably one of the craziest, literally one of the most crazy, but one of the most hilarious Women's Iron Survivor matches we've seen ever. And it featured literally 5 of the absolute best. Sol Ruca, Stephanie Vaquer, Zarya, Julia, and Ren Sinclair. Obviously, Julia and Ren kicked off the Women's Iron Survivor, which was followed by Sol Ruca, then Zarya, and then of course Stephanie Vaquer. 3 times, Ren Sinclair went into the penalty box, which I believe was done by Sol Ruca, Julia, and I think Stephanie Vaquer, which was pretty funny. But it came down to the final minute of the entire match is what made all the difference. All 5 women scored 1 fall. They scored a point, but the final minute was what made all the difference, because Julia pinned Zarya. Literally pinned Zarya to not only pick up the second fall, her second victory, but it literally made the difference, as even with 4 seconds remaining, it didn't matter because Julia became the Women's Iron Survivor. So big congrats to Julia. And it's funny because I have an old friend who I used to go to high school with. Big shout outs to him. He knows who he is. He'll probably comment on this video, shout himself out. But he asked me on Instagram during the main event, asking me who I was rooting for. He was picking Stephanie Vaquer. I picked Julia, and funny enough, Julia ended up winning. And it got me thinking that it got me thinking that maybe Julia might just be the one to dethrone Roxanne Perez, because Roxanne is another superstar who rumors have been swirling. Rumors believe that she could be the one to make the jump over to Monday Night Raw when it moves to Netflix. So maybe New Year's Evil might be the way to write Roxanne off in time for the for the Raw premiere on Netflix. But overall, the card was absolutely solid. The main event, five stars easy. I think if Ren Sinclair, or sorry, if Stephanie Vaquer was a bit quicker, then yes, definitely Stephanie Vaquer could have won. But I think because the Julia has more of the quickness advantage, if you will, than Vaquer. I think that's what made all the difference during that matchup. So I feel like Julia winning, awesome, absolutely incredible. again, 5 stars easy. Overall, the card absolutely solid, incredible. The perfect way to end the PLEs for 2024. I'm giving the entire card 4 stars. But with that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.